What happens when you take one of the most iconic skylines in history and rebuild it in bricks? Today we are diving into a massive brick-built recreation of the original World Trade Center. With over 7,000 pieces, this 1:800 scale model captures all 7 buildings of the WTC complex, including the Twin Towers. But this isn't just a display piece. It's a model that carries history, emotion, and a story far bigger than its bricks count. Was it worth to build? What are the challenges? And who is this set really for? So let's take a closer look. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Lucas and big thank you to LesDIY for kindly sending over this set for a review. This is a 1:800 scale model of the original World Trade Center complex and it does an impressive job of capturing all 7 buildings. Of course, the standout feature is the iconic Twin Towers, but there's plenty more to explore, especially in the surrounding area. So let's take a closer look at the full layout. Around the perimeter, you will notice several microscale trees, cleverly built using classic elements, along with pedestrian crossing made using real tiles, a simple but effective detail. Between WTC 4 and WTC 5, you will even spot some tiny poles, built using magic wand elements, which is a really creative touch. At the heart of the model is the Austin J. Tobin Plaza, featuring the famous fountain with the sphere sculpture at the center. One small inaccuracy here is the color of the massive planters. They are rendered in stone grey rather than green. Between the north and south towers, you can also spot a small representation of the ideogram sculpture, originally a stainless steel installation. Now let's talk about buildings. Starting with 7 World Trade Center, also known as Building 7 or the Salomon Brothers building. The color scheme is spot on, and I really liked how the use of angle plates creates the illusion of windows along the sides. While some plates do stick out slightly, the effect still works very well and doesn't detract from the model overall. Next up are WTC buildings 4, 5 and 6, the lower-rise structures in the complex, each only 7 stories tall. Though they are small in scale, they are still built with care and detail. I will touch more on the building techniques later, but visually, they look great and stay true to the original layout. Then there's the New York Marriott World Trade Center, also known as 3 World Trade Center. This was a 22-story hotel with 825 rooms. Again, I really liked how angular plates were used to replicate the building's angular facade and windows textures. It adds a lot of character and helps the structure stand out. Now, onto the centerpiece, the Twin Towers. They look absolutely majestic, towering over the rest of the model. The two are nearly identical, with slight differences in the entrances area and rooftops, which are nicely captured here. The set also includes a printed plaque with the model's name and some basic information about the buildings. However, I think a little more detail, like naming the architect or giving a brief historical overview, would have really elevated it. Oddly, the plaque doesn't have a design stand or spot with the display, which feels like a bit of missed opportunity. Now, this set is priced at around 397 USD or 383 euros and includes an incredible 7,121 pieces, making it the largest set I have ever built. You can actually get it for 35% off using the discount code in the description. Interestingly, despite the massive part count, the entire build is covered by just one instruction manual. And for the size, it's absolutely huge, measuring 45 by 39 by 67.5 centimeters. Now, let's talk about what makes LesDIY different. Essentially, they mass-produce sets based on mocks made by independent designers. Sometimes the designers approach the company, and other times it's the other way around. This particular model was designed by SPBrix. While there are definitely some strengths to the approach, there are also some challenges, which really stood out during this build. First off, don't expect any revolutionary building techniques. In fact, the amount of repetition here is kind of staggering. But before we dive into that, let me share the first thing that shocked me when I opened the box. There are no number bags, and with over 7,000 parts to sort through, that was a little terrifying. The pieces are sorted mostly by type, and rarer parts are grouped together. But be ready for a lot of repetition, especially with grill tiles. You get about 1,500 of them, and transparent 1x2 tiles which also appear in bulk. The manual doesn't break the build into stages, you just work through it in one long continuous sequence. That said, it took me around 12 hours to build this set, spread over a few evenings. I didn't open all the bags at once, just the ones I needed step by step, which really helped by staying organized. One big downside is the color distinction in the instructions. Some of the grays look nearly identical, and since at least 3 shades are used, often early in the build, it's easy to get confused. You won't even know if you used the wrong color until much later in the build. The model is not built in segments. You start with a massive base plate, then work your way up through the surrounding buildings before tackling the twin towers. The surrounding buildings are built layer by layer, not with many bricks, but mostly with plates. This is where the repetitions start to feel a bit tedious. Still, once complete, the effect looks really great. Now the twin towers themselves bring new challenges. Building the base of each tower involves connecting plates under tension. Frankly, this doesn't feel like an official building technique. At the core of each tower is a single 3x3 plate meant to hold everything together, but it's just not strong enough. A small nudge can make the tower wobble, and moving them is genuinely stressful. The walls are built 2 at a time, followed by remaining sides, but here's where things get tricky. Some connections aren't fully secure and pieces often fall off during assembly. It quickly became a frustrating trial and error process. Eventually I realized I was doing something slightly wrong. There's a subtle misalignment on the parts that holds the walls in place. They are meant to sit flush, but that detail isn't clearly marked in the instruction, so be mindful of that. Honestly, if I were designing this set, I would have used more robust techniques to strengthen the towers and eliminate these weak points. Another issue is the attachment of WTC3, the Marriott Hotel. It's not very securely fixed to the base and attached easily. The other buildings feel much more stable in comparison. And at the end, I was left with a surprising number of leftover parts, including some larger pieces. I'm honestly not sure if I missed steps or just used the wrong pieces earlier. Unfortunately, because the instructions aren't divided into stages, going back to fix anything would mean disassembling everything, and that's just not worth it. But let's end on a positive note. The finished model looks absolutely stunning from every angle. The scale, the detail, and the way it captures the skyline is truly impressive. Still, that leads me to the bigger question. Who is this set really for? It's a beautiful tribute, but also an emotional one. For many, the World Trade Center brings back powerful memories, and not everyone will want a reminder like this on display. What do you think? Would you consider building a model like this? Or do you feel differently? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this video and want to see more from Brick Universe, don't forget to like, subscribe and use the affiliate links if you're planning to pick up any brick build models. Thanks again, and until next time, happy building!